Hey, hello, hello, and hello. Welcome this Monday evening, and welcome to the check-in, the show where we talk about all things mental health from a man's point of view. Even though some of the subjects we talk about are mostly just for everybody, but I try to speak primarily from a man's point of view. I am your host, Mr. Frederick Beatty, and I am excited to bring this show to you guys tonight. Um, it's gonna be we're gonna it's gonna be a little different, but I think it's gonna be something that I think a lot of us can, some people can glean on and could possibly learn something from. But before we get into that, I want to put a couple of announcements out here, um, so that way everybody can understand what we got, what's going on with us, what we got going, and how to connect with us. So first and foremost, if you guys missed Power Hour this Monday morning, you missed a great show with my sis LHG and Detroit's premier transformational youth speaker, Mr. Andrew Griffin, who was on this morning talking about an event that's going to be going down next week, and that is actually what I want to announce. So Monday, June the 24th at 4 p.m., Andrew Griffin presents Rewrite the Vision. This is a youth mentorship program. This event is going to have some awesome people there speaking life to the youth, but also showing them how to do things, giving them not only great practical and business skills that they can use, but also giving them life skills. Um, I think in most cases we give our kids practical skills, but we don't give our children life skills. So we want to make sure that we give our kids those skills that they can use to so they can deal with life whatever life throws at them, whatever life decides to hand to them. And they'll be able to handle that with dignity and honor, and also be able to handle that and not be adversely affected. So if the cost is there's a $20 donation per family. $20 will allow a family to come in. It doesn't, and like Mr. Griffin said earlier, it doesn't matter the size of the family. How many children are in the family? Um, this is going to be something that's going to cover all fan. That's going to cover the family. This is going to be something that's going. They're going to keep taking these donations until the place is packed out, and everybody until the place is packed out. Now, for those of you who are in the Detroit and surrounding area, the address is it's at the New Testament Baptist Church, which is on 13311 Mack Avenue, Detroit, Michigan 48215. So if you are in the Detroit or surrounding area, make sure next Monday at 4 p.m. Your face is in the place, and your children are there, and you guys are ready to come in and be motivated, be inspired, be moved, but also be taught. Now, there's I don't this is something that I personally am going to get behind, and I'm most definitely going to support, because Mr. Andrew Griffin has been a regular here on our platform, especially on Power Hour with my sis LSG. He's been dropping gems of knowledge, um, for the past few Mondays that he's been here, and him and LSG have been talking, and this is something that's going to be great. I am most definitely behind this. Most definitely am going to be, um, in the place. Now, the other thing that I want to let you guys know, please like and share and follow us on all our social media platforms. Um, we are. We are growing. We're growing on Facebook. We're growing on Instagram. We're growing on YouTube. Um, we're growing on Spotify. So please continue to like, share, follow us on all those platforms. We have a YouTube channel. Follow us on our YouTube channel. Um, take a look at our content. And if anything with our content not regulates resonates with you, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and also be notified and get that bell notification so you guys will be notified of whenever we come up on here. Um, I consider this a great honor to be in front of a microphone, be in front of this microphone, also be in front of that camera, and to talk to you guys. Um, especially me being transparent, with about the things that I have been through in my own personal life, and hopefully that's something that but my brothers and my sisters can take away with, and also use to try to better their own life. If you guys missed shaking up the algorithms last night, oh my goodness, that was an incredible build with Miss J and some of the brothers on there. Big shout out to Miss J from shaking up the algorithms and her team for allowing us to come on and build with her and build with her. Big shout out to my brother Chad Nails, Chris Diedrich, um, Johnny the contractor, all those gentlemen that were there last night. Most definitely big ups to you guys, man. I appreciate you guys um, rocking out. I appreciate you guys Miss J, I appreciate you allowing us as men to rock out and just talk about the things that concern us. And most definitely appreciate all the women who asked their questions. Most definitely keep those things coming, and most definitely keep asking those questions. Um, I most definitely want to try to do something like that here in the near future. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that, we're growing on social media. We are um we're growing on Facebook, we're growing like wildfire on our Facebook channel, our Facebook page. Um keep liking, keep sharing, um keep liking, keep sharing. Join our community, man. Join our community. We are we are a platform that tells it like it is. We're not afraid to walk through a closed door. We're not afraid to call things like they are. And I'm most definitely not afraid I'm not most definitely not afraid to speak my truth. Um, and I want you guys to continue to rock out with us. Before the night ends, I am going to give one another special announcement. Um, but as the show begins to end, but I want and I want and this is something that I am extremely proud of. Um, I'm extremely proud of, and I'm extremely excited to be a part of. Extremely excited to be a part of. So, with that being said, guys, let us get into this. Right, let's get into this. As you guys saw the title, anatomy of it says anatomy of a scene, and there's another thing right there, God of War Ragnarok. So before we get into this, let me set the stage for why this is here, why I'm doing this, why I want to do this, and what how I think what I do and what my mission is with this. Um, I do want to start this to be a series. Um, but first, let me just give you the reason as to why I'm doing this, or to what I feel, how I feel why I'm doing this. So first and foremost, as I've been an avid gamer for as long as I can remember. From the good old ColecoVision Commodore 64 days to the Atari 2600, then the Nintendo Entertainment System, then Super Nintendo, Sega Gen, all these game systems I've done, all these game systems that's been around. I've dabbled in at least a few of them. Um, but I've been a gamer for as long as I can remember. But I've been a gamer for as long as I can remember. And video games for me has always been a an outlet for me. An outlet for me to just kind of get away from the real world for a moment and immerse myself in another world for a while. Not all night, maybe an hour or so. Um, and that's been my thing for a long time. I'm 51 years old now. I still game. I don't game as much as I did when I was younger, but I still game. Um, I'm not so much of as a competitive gamer, so I don't do a lot of competitive stuff. But I do love the single player. I do love um the single player experiences. Those are what I love. Those are what I gravitate towards. And video games, at least I don't know about anybody else, but at least to me, has been, and what I'm about to say is not to disparage other mediums such as TV, other media delivery systems such as TV, radio, um, and things of that nature. So I'm not disparaging any of those, but this is just an opinion of mine. Video games to me have been very effective medium of delivering relatable stories, um, relatable stories with relatable content, emotionally charged stories with relatable characters. A lot of these video a lot of these video games now a lot of these video games tackle very relatable issues. They also tackle very sensitive subjects sometimes. Um, I can remember a game called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice that dealt with mental health, primarily psychosis, but it also touched on loss and sacrifice. Um, Other games such as The Last of Us, both one and two, have very emotional scenes to where we we as a player are drawn into this world, but also are very drawn to these characters. Very drawn to these characters. Um, we share we share. It's almost like if the character goes through some hurt, we feel that hurt. Um, The Last of Us Part One and Two were very great games for me because they held, not only was the gameplay top notch, but the presentation was also top notch, and the emotional impact was top notch, and I can appreciate that. Um, Other games such as the Mass Effect series, more notably the third game in the Mass Effect series, um, has some emotionally charged moments. There are so many games that I could name that carry these emotionally charged moments. These are moments to where it's something that we as humans can relate to, and we can take that and we can take what's there and we can extrapolate from it, and we can use the lesson that's been taught in the game in a game to help improve our lives. And a lot of people don't want to and a lot of people think that video games are just some crazy medium for for folks to get lost in. And that would be further from the truth, for further from the truth for me. And I'm gonna say this again. This is just for me, y'all. Just for me. When I play games, when I play the single player games, I I normally play as I'm a male, but I normally play as a female protagonist, as a female character if there is a choice for that. The reason that I do that is because the voice lines are spoken with more emotion and more, and they have more depth in them. And again, this is not to say that a male protagonist or a male voice actor can't do the same thing, because when I tell when I because I have played games with that only had a male protagonist, and those lines were delivered expertly. Um, Again, The Last of Us, um, the main character Joel was played by Troy Baker, and he delivered those lines perfect. I mean, perfectly. I mean, they had the right emotional impact. They had the right emotional impact for me. So, video games as a medium is as a medium that can deliver emotionally charged stories is something that a lot of people know but don't know. The production value of these games, these games that are being put out, these AAA titles that are out now, that are being produced and put out now and released now, is astonishing. Um, these budgets can easily go into the millions. Um, and these studios go through a lot of work to put out this great content. And I have to give a big shout out to the writers of these games, but also the people who play in motion capture or voice act these games, because the writers are the ones that are responsible. To me, the writers are the ones that are responsible for writing the emotionally charged content. The actors who play these characters are just the conduits of the writing. And there are so many things. There's so many to me a lot of so there's so many emotionally charged things and scenes and games that will put you to pause and kind of get you for it, and kind of, I won't say force you to think, but get you to think one way or another. And that is one of the main that's one of the main reasons why I game. It's not for it's for not it's not only for the enjoyment, but also for the lessons that most games give you. Um, as you can see on the back of my wall here, you know, this thing is lessons learned from video games, and that's something I learned. That's something I picked up on. Of course, in a game, you can if you die, you can always respawn, but in life, that's not possible. But but that's the reason why I game. It's not only just for the fun aspect, not only for the entertainment and the fun aspect of it. And yes, there are times where I do hang out with friends, or like or with friends if I'm in a multiplayer group, like in the game Division 2. I'm in a clan. I am in a clan, a very active clan at that. Um I do it sometimes. I do it sometimes for the social aspect, but mostly just for the enjoyment of guiding a character on either a linear or a non-linear quest to finish the game or to finish an objective. Um, but that's the reason why I want to do this. That's the reason why I want to do this. The real reason why I want to start a series like this is because I want to use the medium of video games to extrapolate some things that can be valuable for us as men. This is something I think that a lot of us as men can learn some lessons from video games. And I'm not saying that that's the end all be all place to where you should learn life lessons from, because life teaches us lessons pretty much all the time. But I think the medium of video games is something that can teach us as well, with emotionally charged stories and emotionally charged content. So before we get any further, I want to play a scene too. I want to play a scene, but before I play this scene, I want to preface it with an introduction for those who don't know the name of the game that I'm talking about. Um, in the title of this podcast, or title of the show tonight. the series in itself is the God of War series has been around for quite some time. It's been around for quite some time now, and it is a it is an award winning series that has gone through several iterations. Um, Mostly the startup in all the games, just the focus is on the main character Kratos, who is a Spartan warrior, who sacrificed a lot to gain for the curry to gain power. He even lost his family. And each of the games kind of discusses a unique aspect of who Kratos is. But most notably in 2018, the God of War series got a got a massive, I won't say a massive reboot, but got a massive I won't say a massive rework either. The God of War series was usually focused in Greek mythology. With God of War 2000, when God of War came out on the Sony on the PlayStation 4 platform in 2018, it was now more in Norse mythology. The first God of in a nutshell, the first God of War speaks follows the story of Kratos and his son Atreus, and they are fulfilling his wife Faye's last wish to climb to the highest peak and spread her ashes. This is a story of growth, with both characters, both Atreus and Kratos. And in the end, father and son come to a point to where they can begin to understand each other, and Kratos can actually be a father, can be a true father to Atreus. God of War Ragnarok picks up where the first one left off. Now this event called Fimbulwinter is here, and now again, Kratos and Atreus are tasked with stopping this event. Along the way, again, this game is mired in Norse mythology. So characters such as Thor, um, Balder, Heimdall, um, Loki, Odin, um, Freya, um, Suitor, and all those characters in Norse mythology are here. Along the way, again, this is a journey of growth for both Kratos and Atreus, but not only for them two, it is also the supporting characters that grow, that grow. Um, we see in this game, I played this game from front to back, and then played it again when the free DLC came out. So this is we also see one of the supporting characters from Freya. She transformed from a still grieving mother to a mother that's beginning to understand where her destiny lied. Now, I could be wrong in all this stuff, but again, this is just my analysis of it. But the God of War series, the God of War series, especially the first one, 2018, and this one, God of War Ragnarok. There are so many emotional scenes. There are so many scenes in both games that I could just literally just break down all of them and tell you which all of them are and how they and what impact they meant to me. But there was one scene in God of War Ragnarok in particular that I want to play for you guys. And if you don't mind, if you will indulge me for a little bit, I want to give a little bit of an analysis, give a little bit of what my analysis of that scene is, and what it means for me, and what I strongly believe it could mean for men, especially as fathers. So without any further delay, I'm going to introduce you to this game. I'm going to introduce you to a scene of God of War Ragnarok. Now this is on. Now this is a clip. This is a clip. This is a clip of a game. This is a clip of the game. The title is Kratos and Thor Make Peace. So without any further delay, I'm gonna most definitely let you guys take a look at this, and then I'll come back and we'll break this down. So give me a second. All right. So if everybody can see the screen here, I'm gonna go away for a moment and I'll be right back. Away from her! I am done with you and your son. No more fucking games. And this time, I'm allowed to kill you.
Go and think for yourself for once. Your family's falling apart.
Enough! Don't act like you know. One of us dies today. Come on! What the fuck are you waiting for?
Your daughter. My son calls her friend.
If you try to hurt her...
I would not.
Don't you know what I've done?
Yes! But what will you do now?
We don't change. Or destroy us.
No more. No more. For the sake of our children, we must be better.
All right. So I do apologize for the language and the level of violence in the scene, but the scene had to play. The scene had to play out in order for me to kind of, number one, get the full analysis of everything, but also analyze this, look at this scene and analyze it for myself. Now, mind you, I've already done this. I've already done the analysis, and I wrote it down. I have some notes here. So at the end of the fight, Thor asks Kratos, what is he waiting for? Kratos says that he's waiting for his daughter, Thrud. And he says that my son calls her friend. Thor says that if you hurt her, and Kratos answers, I would not. Good evening, Miss Michelle. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Kratos answer, and like I said, Thor asks Kratos. Thor says, if you hurt her, Kratos answers, I would not. There's a brief pause. Thor asks, do you know what I have done? Kratos answers, yes. This, to me, this is one of the parts that is pivotal. In this is one of the pivotal parts in the exchange. Thor asking Kratos, does he know what he's done? And Kratos responding with yes. Speaks to a lot of what the what both characters are. Both these men have been soldiers and have been soldiers in a never ending war, not only with other opponents but also with themselves. Now, as a precursor to all of this, and this is something that I didn't say before, um, Thor's family was falling apart. Um, he was losing connection with his daughter Thrud, but also there was a rift between him and his wife Sif. The other thing that I didn't mention as well, is that in this game Thor was an alcoholic, a chronic alcoholic. But there's also a lot of things that Thor has done that he deeply regrets. When he asked Kratos this, and Kratos answers with yes, to me it's like Kratos acknowledging the things that Thor has done, because in a sense, and I won't even say in a sense, because in the same breath, Kratos has done the same horrible things as well. Both men to me are bound by duty, but also were beholden to the people to their superiors or to their betters. And again, this is just how I look at it, my analysis of everything. When we as men ask our spouses or our children or our mates, um, or other men, when we ask them, do you know what we've done? And another man can say yes and acknowledge that. That is a very powerful thing. And yes, I'm getting emotional because in some instances, in a lot of instances, that's me. There have been some things that I have done in my life that I'm not happy of, I'm not proud of. There's some things I've done in my life that I'm not eve that I will never applaud. And those have been horrible, reprehensible, egregious things. Things that I could never take back. words that I can never take back, actions that I can never reverse, um, things that I've done that I can never ever take back. And when another man answers yes, that to me that's just a confirmation of a lot of things. It it speaks to that man or that person and responding with yes because they know that they've done the same egregious things, the same they said the same hurtful words. They said they've done the same stuff that the other person has is is explaining. And to me, it's not really an explanation. It's more of a cry. Don't you know what I've done? Do you know what I have? Do you know the things that I've put people through? Do you know the pain? Do you know the pain and the pain that I have caused? Do you know the harm that I put that I have that I do you know the harm that I have visited upon people? Do you know the emotional pain that I have wrought on people? Do you know the lives that I've ruined because of my actions, because of my words, because of my thoughts? And it is a and it is a reflection of what we have done, but also speaks to what we want, what we feel that we're powerless to do or powerless to not do. Kratos is acknowledging him because in his heart and this is again analysis of mine in Kratos's heart and soul, he's done the same things. He's done the same things that Thor has done. Reprehensible things, egregious things that he can never reverse, words he said that he can never take back, that he can never take back. And for a lot of us as men, the things that we have done weigh on us. Our past weighs on us because in some instances, and I can only speak from a personal experience of mine. I can only speak from my personal experience. My past my past at one point, not now, but my past had made it impossible for me to move forward in my life because I held on this because I held on and sometimes still hold on to things I should not hold on to. I should not be holding on to. I should not be thinking about what I did in 1997 and what happened to me in 1997 and 1998 should not affect me in 2024. But in some instances I it does affect me because I think about it. And as men, we do go back in our past. We do go back in those deeper recesses of our soul. And we ask, do you know what I've done? Because sometimes that's to me, that's not even a question to me. In some instances, there's not really a question. In some instances, to me, it's a cry for help. Do you know what I've done? Yes, I do know what you have done, brother. Because the reason I know what you have done because the things that you've done, I've done them. The words that you can never take back, I've said those words. The egregious actions that you've taken on people who either have hurt you or not, I've may I've done I've made those acts. I've done those actions. I've made those actions. The thought the thoughts that those thoughts that wander around in your head, wondering if you're if this is your lot in life, or if you're good enough, or if you or if it's or should you just pack it in and just call it a day? Those thoughts, those thoughts, I've had those thoughts. And at times I still struggle with those thoughts. So I've been there. I've been there, brothers. I've been where you are. Not to say that there's not, and I promise you it does not feel good. None of it feels good, because the simple fact of the matter, it don't feel good because it's what you've done. And sometimes what we have done affects our affects our possibilities of moving forward in life. I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes when we reflect on what we've done, it affects our possibilities of moving forward in life. It affects our future. It affects where we are, where we're going, where we want to be. We literally shortstop ourselves, and we pull ourselves short because we think back on the things that we've done, and if we wonder if there's a possibility for us to heal. There's a possibility for us to move forward. There's a possibility for us to even get to a pinnacle to where we can be comfortable with ourselves, be comfortable with ourselves, be real with ourselves, be geez, be comfortable in the skin that we're currently in, you know? So Kratos answers yes, because he's been in and still are, and he's been in and still are and still is in those shoes. There's also a question that Kratos asks Thor as Kratos is still tense and still postured for um, a continuation of battle. As he puts his hand out to retrieve his frost axe, and as his frost axe hits his hand, he asks Thor a question. But what will you do now? An important question to ask ourselves as men, as brothers. We know what we've done to people. We know what we've done to ourselves. The question is, what is it that we're going to do now? What are you going to do to change? What are you going to do to rectify the situation? What are you going to do to make the situation better? What are you going to do to change the outcome? If to change the outcome, if you want to change the outcome, do you want to change the outcome to something more desired? Do you just want to change the outcome to where it's less stress and less strain and more comfort? Who knows? But the question is what will you do now? That question requires action. That question requires an action as an answer. What is it that I'm going to do now? What am I going to do to change my situation? What am I going to do to change my ways? What am I going to do to get to the more positive and the more positively desired outcomes that I want? Am I going to have to be, change my mind? Am I going to need to pray more? Am I going to need to go to am I going to do I need to go to therapy? Do I need to seek therapy? Do I need to seek help? Do I need to excuse me, do I need to isolate myself for a moment? Do I need to isolate myself from people for a moment while I get my bearings? And this is something I want us to think about. Brothers, what will you do now? What is it that you're going to do now? Now that you know what you've done and you've reflected back on what you've done, what are you going to do now? What is it that you're going to do now? Now, there are two more pivotal points in this exchange between Kratos and between Thor and Kratos. And I want to touch on them both. As Thor is getting up and he's reaching his hand out for his hammer for his hammer Mjolnir, he says, "We don't change. We are destroyers." Now I can spin this in both I can spin this more in a lot of ways. But I'll spin it in a way that I think a lot of people will learn, a lot of us as brothers can understand. And I think a lot of us a lot and hopefully my sisters can understand, will be able to understand this as well. We don't change, we are destroyers. What he says this specifically to Kratos, because him and Kratos are what are considered destroyers. What he meant by that, they're the ones that they're the ones that wreak havoc or wreak chaos on a battlefield. They destroy everything that they destroy. They are the ones that can wreak havoc on a battlefield. But there's a difference between destroyers in a battlefield and destroyers of life. And I don't mean like the taking of life. I mean that in a different way, a wholly different way. So this is how I look. This is how I look at this. And I say that, and I'm going to use myself as the context here. I have done a lot, and this is gonna bring about some emotion, and I do apologize for that. but I want to make sure that I make this point very clear and bring it home. In my past, I have done a lot to disrupt and disenfranchise and destroy lives. I'm not happy about that. I'm not. It's something I don't celebrate, and it's something I'm not proud of. But I also know that my actions have possibly led to the destruction of some people's lives, has led to the disruption of some people's lives. Me not being physically available, me not being physically there for my children could be considered disruptive and destructive. Me doing Me having those thoughts of wanting to remove myself from this plane of existence could be considered disruptive and destructive. Me going through a lot of things that I've been through could be considered disruptive or destructive. Me just trying to learn what to do with my emotions, how to deal with my emotions in a constructive and positive way could be interpreted as something that could be interpreted as disruptive or destructive for some people. Not all people, but for some people. Me going through the stages of grief after losing a child could be considered constructive or disruptive. Some people will look at it as being disruptive. Other people will look at it as being destructive because me going through all those stages of grief, I was constantly destroying things that I was destroying parts of me that I was trying to build back up. So it's it's crazy that we talk of that and brothers, I want y'all to be I want to make this very, very clear. We have done things that have been either disruptive or destructive in the lives of the people that we care about, primarily primarily our spouses and our children. And some of these disruptive or destructive things have been the result of what we have been a result of some of these things. Some of our disruptive and destructive behaviors have been the result of the thing of our experiences, trauma, abuse, um, low self esteem, um, depression, anxiety, PTSD. All these things contribute to that. And when we don't get a handle on it, when we don't get a handle on it, and we don't put it in its proper place or its when we don't put it when we don't look at it in the proper perspective, or if we don't put it in its proper place, it can be destructive. It will be destructive. And then we end up destroying everything that we have worked so hard to build, so hard to um, put together. In some instances, by by not addressing it, we lose people that we love and we care about. Our children put distance between us. Our spouses, we become estranged from our spouses, and we we become isolated and alone. And that's not a good feeling to be. That's not a good feeling to be in. That's not a good feeling place to be at, you know? It's not a good place to be in most instances. How do I know this? How do I know this? Because I personally been there. I personally been in that dark area to where there was no light. There was no there was I couldn't there's nothing there. And I was I was at ground zero at my own destructive rampage. I was ground zero. I was at ground zero of my own destructive rampage. I was literally standing at ground zero at all the things that I destroyed, and I'm looking around, and I'm thinking, God, what have I done? What did I do? And I asked, and there are times where I've asked myself, why? Why am I still here at grounds? Why is everything that I build up? Why does everything that I try to build up with these two hands, I end up destroying with the same two hands? You have a different perspective on what you destroy, or what is destroyed, or what destruction looks like when you're at ground zero of your own destruction, of the destruction that you caused. It's a different perspective. It's a way different perspective. When you're at ground zero of the destruction when you're at ground zero and you're looking at the aftermath of the destruction you caused, that perspective is different, very much different. And it should be. And it should be different. Because looking at the destruction looking at the destruction that I caused, looking at the things that I destroyed, I wasn't proud of myself. I was ashamed. I wasn't proud of that. I was literally ashamed of that. And I beat myself up tremendously as a person. I beat myself up tremendously because every time, and I thought that something was off with my wiring, off with my emotion, off with my wiring as a man, because every time I built something up with these two hands, I end up destroying it with either with these two hands or my mouth or my actions. And yeah, I can relate when Thor said, "We don't change, we are destroyers." I can relate to that. I can literally relate to what Thor said to that with that. And I know there's a lot of brothers out here that could possibly relate to that as well. We don't intentionally. I'm gonna put this out there. I never wanted to. I never intentionally wanted to not be in my children's life. I didn't. That was not. That was not the plan. The plan was to be there as a father. The plan was to try to. The plan was to be there as a father and to try to cultivate a relationship with my children. I have no one. I have no one. I have no one. I have no one to blame. I have no one to blame but me because I didn't cultivate that. I didn't try. I didn't do what I could. I didn't do more to cultivate that relationship with my children. I didn't do more to be a more present father to my children. I can apologize. I can apologize. I can apologize to them all I want, but facts are facts. 'Cause facts. 'Cause facts are 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 facts The writing's on the wall. The proof is in the pudding. I wasn't present. I really wasn't present. And as men, as men and fathers, and when we're not present in the lives of our children, it it doesn't look like it doesn't have the appearance of it destroying a child, but it does. It puts thoughts in that child's mind, thinking like, well, why does my father must not want me if he's not around. My father must not love me if he can't spend time with me. So it puts those thoughts in that child's mind, and those thoughts can be destructive. They have the propensity to be destructive. So yeah, when Thor said that, I can most definitely relate to that. And I know that there's some brothers out here that can relate to that as well. They can relate to that as well. But one of the things, but the last pivotal point of this exchange between Thor and Kratos is, and this is to me, this is where the rubber meets the road. Kratos said no more. He said it softly at first, but then he said it with more conviction. No more. Softly at first, no more. But then with more conviction, no more. For the sake of our children, we must be better. For the sake of our children, we must be better. That has a lot of emotional impact for for me. And it has that impact because the actions that I took in being a father in absentia was the price that I paid. Was the price that I paid for being a father in absentia was the price that I paid. And it was the actions that I took that led me to be that father in absentia. And I'm still paying that price today, to this day. Gentlemen, I want you to look at the lives of your children. Look at the lives of your children. Have you brought about prosperity or have you brought about destruction? Have you brought about peace or have you brought about peace in your child's life, or have you brought on war? Have you impacted that child's life in a positive way, or have you just or have you just been there? Been there and not been there without being there, should I say. There is when we destroy when we or when and I'll say this more to me. When I did all my destroying, I left nothing in my wake. Nothing. And the people that cared about me, the people that cared about me and that loved me the most, the people that cared about me and loved me the most, they were caught up in my blast wave. They were caught up in my blast wave and were cons- and were so they were and were consumed. I cared not a whit about it because I was being sick, because I was being selfish. Because I wanted it my way. Not knowing that not knowing that in that moment of wanton destruction, I put the people that I cared about at the most risk because I was selfish. I was selfish. I put my three sons and my daughter and my only daughter at risk because I was selfish. I put myself at risk because I wanted this thing without the responsibility, without assuming that I want this thing without assuming the responsibility. I want to go about on my wanton path of destruction and not assume the responsibility of being responsible for the destruction that I caused. Want to do this not be liable, not be on the hook for the repairs, and not take the blame for those repairs, or better yet, not even be active in making the repairs. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard deal when you burn bridges. It's a hard thing to deal with when you burn bridges because now you expect those people whom you burn bridges with to send a boat over to you, and you get pissed at them when they don't send that boat over to you because now you feel that you're old or that's expected of them to do, and when you burn bridges with folks, they don't have to rebuild that bridge. They don't have to rebuild that bridge, nor they're not obligated to rebuild that bridge with you, nor are they obligated to send a boat to you. They're not obligated for that. You want to rebuild the bridge. You want to rebuild the bridge with people that you burned bridges with. You're gonna have to be the one to build it. You're gonna have to be the one to build it. We're gonna have to be the ones that, if brothers, we're gonna have to be the one to build those bridges that we have burned with the people that we care about, with our children. Never in a million years had never in a million years in my lifetime I had that I ever think about that I ever think that I never thought that I never thought that reconciliation was a possible thing. I never looked at things like that. I never looked at it from that perspective. I never saw it from that perspective. Reason I didn't see it from that perspective because I didn't want to see it from that perspective because because I thought and sometimes still think that reconciliation and redemption is something that's impossible for me. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I proven wrong with that. Reconciliation and restoration and redemption is a possible thing, but we have to look at what we've done. We have to look at the we have to we're already at ground zero of of our destructive way. We just now we have to assess the damage and make the repairs. if we're willing to make the repairs. For the sake of our children, we have to be better. We have to be better. The reason that we have to be better is because the our children are good. Our children are going to be the light bearers when we are going to be our light bearers when we pass on. When we leave this earth, our children are good. Our children are going to be the light bearers. How our children view us, and and how our children view us and how they honor us speak how they honor us will speak volumes to what they did, to how they were, speaks volumes. And it doesn't, and this is something that doesn't have to happen in death. We need to be better for our children now, so our children can look up to us, can honor us, can revere us, can speak highly of us. This is I know that my one and I'm just gonna I'm just gonna put this out here right now. I'm just gonna put this out here right now because I feel that it's relevant to what we're talking about. One of the things I thought that reconciliation and redemption were not possible until a spring day in 2019, to where I was invited to be at my to be present at my daughter's wedding. Now she told me that I wasn't going to be able to walk her down the aisle and everything of that nature, and her mother was going to do that. And guess what? I was fine. I was fine with that. I really was, because that wasn't a big deal to me. The biggest deal for me was to be present, to be present and celebrate her marriage to her husband. That was the larger purpose. I wasn't going to get mad over something that was trivial. The larger purpose was for me to be there to celebrate my daughter's wedding. I'm going to admit I had not seen my daughter since since at that time since I had not seen my daughter since she was 6 months old. We spoke to each other on Instagram and via email, you know what I'm saying? But we hadn't physically seen each other. And I'm going to admit that I was very nervous, because I didn't know how she was going to react. I didn't know, I didn't know what she was going to say. I didn't know what her mother was going to say. I didn't know any of that stuff. But yet I took a chance. But yet I took a chance and went and came and showed up. I largely kept to myself because I didn't I largely kept to myself and just really didn't. I mean, not I wasn't trying to do that on purpose, not to interact with people, but I didn't want to disrupt the moment. I didn't want to disrupt her moment, because this was her moment. Throughout the whole ceremony, I am I'm sitting in the back, I'm taking it all in. Um I'm smiling. I'm happy, but I was also sad. I was happy because she is she's marrying someone that she loves and she cares about, and he loves her and he loves her and cares about her, and they both respect each other immensely. But I'm also sad. I'm also sad because I didn't get to see her grow. None of those things. But after they, they got married and things of that nature, we went, took pictures and things of that nature. We took a picture together. And she asked me, did I want to take a picture with her? And I said, yes. And it caught me off guard with that. It really did catch me off guard when she asked that, because I wasn't expecting it. And we took a couple of pictures together. Um, when I look at those pictures, I see a vibrant a vibrant young girl, a vibrant young woman that's so full of life, and so full of life and wonder and happiness, and that manifest in, her marriage. Um, we went to the reception. Her and her mother, had their dance. I didn't, again, I knew that there were certain things that I wasn't going to be able to do. And and again, I was okay with that. I was totally okay with that. I wasn't here to be disruptive I wasn't there to be disruptive. I was there to celebrate her moment, her time. You know what I mean? And at the reception, I had such a wonderful time. I know that they were doing what they were doing, and I stayed and helped cleaned up. Me and her mother had a me and her mother had such a wonderful, wonderful talk, such a heartwarming talk, and it was we both came to the conclusion of what things were, how things were, and that it didn't really have to be the way that it was, but it was. And at the end of the day, again, you have to be okay with certain things, and sometimes that's how it is. But we had such a wonderful talk, such a wonderful and enlightening conversation. You know, we I asked her, could she ever forgive me for the things that I did that I've done, you know? And she forgave me, and she asked me, could I ever forgive her for the things that she did? This it would without a second thought, without a second thought, no, you're forgiven. Don't I I understood why you did what you did. I understood why you did what you did. I understood that what you did was to protect her from me, because hell, I wasn't trying to protect me from me. And that was understood. And then after me and Francesca's mom had a talk, me and her talked. And again, it was such a wonderful conversation. And it was almost like it was almost like several years worth of pain and anguish and uncertainty and disappointment was erased all in the scope of a day, all in the scope of one day. She said something to me, and she said something to me that almost made me cry. And when I think about it now, and when I think about it even now, I as you can see, I tear up a bit. I tear up. She said, "Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here and supporting me." Thank you for celebrating. Thank you for celebrating. Thank you for helping us celebrate this day. Brothers, I want y'all to know that to hear those words from your daughter, or to hear those words from your son, or to hear those words from any of your children, you have no idea. I won't even say you have no idea, because I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this before. But for me to hear that from my own child, the one that I helped bring into this world, to hear that, it God, you just don't know. I was on an emotional high for the rest of the time I was in California. I was on an emotional high, and I thought nothing could top that. And then I got to spend time with my youngest son. Got to spend that Sunday with my youngest son, and that was that was one that felt good, to spend time with him, to talk to him, and to just know a little bit more about him. So I was on an emotional high that whole day, that whole weekend. And that's why I say that's why I am in agreement with Kratos to say we have to be better for our kids. Because there have been things that we have done we've done destructive and disruptive things and reprehensible things with our kids and to ourselves. But at the end of the day, we have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves for the things that we have done to, or we have to forgive ourselves for, number one, the things that we have done to ourselves. And we also have to ask forgiveness for those that we have transgressed upon. We also have to understand that forgiveness is not for us, it's for them. It's for those people that we have hurt, those people that we have transgressed upon. They're not obligated. They're not obligated to forgive us. They're not. They're not obligated to do that. A lot of people say that if I ask you for forgiveness, it's your obligation. You're obligated to do that. No, you're not. No, people are not obligated to do that. You can ask for forgiveness, and that person can say, "I don't forgive you," and that's what's gonna have to be lived with for a while until they can bring themselves to do that. Well, first and foremost, we have to forgive ourselves of the things that we have done, the things that the destruction that we have wrought on other people. And we have to be an active participant in helping rebuild the destruction that we have to be an active participant in helping rebuild the destruction that we caused. We were at ground zero of all this, and we're the ones that caused it. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we be the ones to repair it? We're the ones that caused it. So we got to be better for our children. Number one, we have to be better for ourselves before we can even be better. Before we can be better fathers, we have to be better. We have to Before we can be better fathers, we have to be better men first. And we we have to understand that before we can be better fathers, we have to be better men. And that is something that I am learning. Being a better man working toward being a better man is a challenge in and of itself. It's a challenge that has presented many crossroads, many bumps in the roads, many dark tunnels. Um, I've had I've suffered I've suffered flat tires along the way. I've suffered engine trouble. My I've broken down. I've broken down. I ran out of fuel. And I'm not gonna say that it's easy because it's not easy. It has been a hard journey. Like I said, I've had my pit stops along the way. I've suffered flat tires. I've suffered a flat tire or two or three or four. I've broken down. I've broken down along the side of the road. I've had engine trouble. I've traveled dark roads. Even though I have headlights, I still couldn't see the road before me. Still couldn't see the road before me. And do I regret any of this? Do I regret the choices I made? Of course I do. Of course, with any bad choice, we're all gonna regret it. But at this point, there's no need to regret that now because because the choice has been made. The choice has been made, and the choice has been made, and the effects of those choices the consequences of those choices have already been felt. They've already been rendered. And some choices we pay the consequences for forever. The only thing that I know about life, the only thing I know about life and the choices that we make is that we pay the penance for what we do. We don't choose when we pay that penance, and we don't choose what penance we have to pay. So, like I said, whatever when the choices that we make, we all pay the price. We all pay the price. We all pay a penance. We don't get to choose what penance and again, I'm saying this again because I want to make this clear and bring this home for us as men. We we don't we pay a price. We don't choose what price we pay. And we don't choose when we pay it, but we pay it. And when when that price has to be exacted, we can't complain. We can't complain about it because we can't complain about it, nor can we say that nor can we say I would have wanted to pay that sooner rather than later. Because again, like I said earlier, we pay the price. We don't choose when and what. We don't choose what price we don't choose the price we don't choose what it exacts from us. And we don't choose when it exacts it, when it exacts it from us. So we don't choose what's taken from us, nor do we get to choose when it's taken from us. it's this is a long road towards being a better man, being a much more better, being a much more resilient person, much more sensible person, someone who's a much more self-aware person, more more aware about the more aware about that hit. Trying to think about the best way that I can put this. And the only way that I can put it is this way. It's about being better. Being better meaning having a better perspective of life. Your own, not only your own life, but the life of those that care about you, that care about us and that love us. A better perspective on life, on about life with our children, with our spouses and our loved ones. But also a much more cognizant, much more cognizant and better view of a much more cognizant and better view of our little pocket universe, our little pocket universe, and the people that we allow to orbit us, the people that we allow in our orbit, because sometimes we think about the just a small little part of the universe, when our small little part, our little small pocket universe also has an effect on the greater world around us. But we have to make sure that our little pocket universe is in order, and the people that are orbiting us, that we pull into our orbit, are the people that we're going to care about, we're going to love, and we're going to protect. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. You know, these walks of life, these walks that we take in life, whether it's a walk of, whether it's a walk of sobriety, whether it's a walk of um recover, whether it's a walk of sobriety, or whether it's a walk of um recovery from emotional hurt and pain, whether you're recovering, whether you're trying to recover from um emotional or physical trauma. This is a walk. This is not. I said this last night, and I'm gonna repeat it. This path we take as men, this path to wholeness and healing and recovery. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And we and you when we have to be invested. We have to be invested in the long haul. We got to be. We This is. I'm looking at this. I'm playing the long game. I'm playing the long game with this. I'm playing the long game with this. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to score every damn. I'm not trying to score every drive. I'm not on the field. I'm not on the field trying to score every drive, because I know I know in this life, there are going to be three and outs. There are going to be times where I'm gonna have to punt. There are going to be times where I'm gonna have to be on defense. There are times where I'm gonna have to be on defense in football terms. In baseball terms, there are going to be times where I'm going to give. I'm gonna serve up a meatball, and somebody's gonna hit. Somebody's gonna gonna send that thing to the moon, or do a moon shot. I have to I have to understand this. I have to understand that I'm not gonna get all the calls. I'm not gonna get all the calls. And I understand that there are going to be calls again that are going to be made against me. But instead of complaining about it, Of course, of course, there's no problem with leveling a grievance. No problem in that. No issue with that. No problem in that. But there's a difference between leveling a grievance and a complaint. So instead of complaining about the call, instead of bitching and moaning, I'm just gonna go back and play it. I'm just gonna go back and play the game, play my game. Gonna go back and play the game. Because eventually, if I play the game the right way, the calls that I've been complaining about, or you will turn around and come and be mine, go my way. So I have to realize that I don't have to score. I don't have to score every time I get the ball. I don't have to score every time I get the ball. I can, gentlemen, and I'm saying this because as it pertains to life. And I'm using sports analogies because I think sometimes those are relatable to us. Brothers, it's okay. It's okay to settle for a field goal. It's okay to settle for a field goal. You ain't got to score a touchdown every time you touch the ball. If you drive down the field, you get stopped, and you have an opportunity to kick a field goal, take the 3 points. It's okay if you drive down the field and you get stymied. It's okay to punt. It's okay. Those things are okay. This life we live in is not this life we live in. This life we live in is not for down territory. You don't have to always go for it on fourth down. You don't have to always go for it on fourth down. It's okay to punt. It's okay to give the ball back to the other team. It's okay to play defense. No issue in that. No issue in that. So it's okay. It's okay. And just like when I say it's okay to kick a field goal, when I mean it in life terms, it's okay to fall short. It's okay to fall short. When I say it's okay to punt, it's okay to say that I can't do it. Or it's okay to say that, I can't figure this out. I need help. You don't have to score every time. And you don't have to go for the long bomb all the time. Dude, it's okay. It's okay to deke and dunk. It's okay to do 5 yards here, 5 yards there. As long as you're moving the ball. And when you get called for a penalty, and I equate penalties to the things that we as men go through in life, it's okay to the ref gonna blow that whistle, and they're gonna call that penalty on you, and you're gonna be assessed them yards. It's gonna be a repeat of a down, or you're gonna lose a down. Instead of sitting there complaining about it, take that shit in stride. Take that shit in stride. Next play. I look at life as a great big old sports analogy, because in next play. And so it's okay. Get back in the huddle. Next play. Shake it off. Don't worry about that. Trust me, trust me, this is a long ass game, and it's gonna be more than one opportunity for that to happen. Shake it off, shrug it off. And I'm saying, I know it sounds easy with me saying it, but even with me saying that, it's hard. It's even harder for me to do because sometimes I've had to sit there and be like, damn, really? I mean, I can't get that. I can't get that call. Or better yet, I'm mad. I'm mad because I want to kick a field goal. I'm pissed off because I wanted 7 points, but I got settled for 3. That's okay. I will take them 3 points. Take them 3 points and be good with it. Because just like in the game of life and just like in the game of football and the game of life, it's not over. It ain't over until that clock say 0, 0, 0, 0. It ain't over. It ain't over till that time. Until that clock says 0, 0, 0, you keep playing. You keep grinding. You keep pushing. You keep doing what you got to do to get to your best life. To get to your best life. Your best life meaning that you have forgiven yourself for all the things that you've done in your past, and that you are on the pathway to healing and rehabilitation. Being better for ourselves means that we're better for our children. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a long road. What is my part in this situation? Acknowledge that part. What can I do to correct it? If correction is needed. What can I do to rectify the situation if rectification is possible, if rectification is needed or possible? Just like in the dating game, there's intelligence gathering. In the game of life, with us as men, there's intelligence gathering. We have to gather intelligence about ourselves and act upon the intelligence that we gather about ourselves. Everything doesn't warrant a response. Everything doesn't warrant a comment. Sometimes silence is the best way to go. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it is good to be just an observer. Being better fathers requires us to be better. Being better fathers, before we can be better fathers, we first have to be better men. That is a requirement. And I know for me, this is a lesson learned way too damn late, but I'm willing to make amends with my children. If they're willing to reach, if they're wanting me to reach out, they want me to reach out to them. I'm willing to make those amends. I am willing to sit at the table and listen to my kids tell me, "Hey, this is your fault. This is your fault. This is your fault." And I'm willing to step up and say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. It was not my intent to hurt you. It was my intent to be here for you. Can you forgive me for the things that I have done?" And if they can forgive me, fine. If they can't forgive me, it's still fine. We as men have to be okay with not being forgiven, because there are going to be some people out here that will not forgive you, and there are going to be some people out here that you ain't going to forgive. You have to keep in mind that forgiveness, that asking for that someone asking for forgiveness, or you asking for forgiveness, that's something that it's your right to ask for forgiveness. It's their right to ask for forgiveness. It's your duty it's your duty to respond, whether you want to forgive them, or whether you want to forgive them, or whether you don't want to forgive them. You know, that's a choice, and you can choose to forgive or not forgive. For me, I am okay either way. I really am okay either way. If I ask for forgiveness and they don't forgive me, I'm cool. I'm okay. I'm okay with that because I asked for forgiveness from the sincerity of my heart. And if they can't see that, then that's fine. I'm not saying that to be mean or condescending or anything like that. But if someone doesn't forgive me for something that I've done to them, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, I ask God to forgive me. I ask God to forgive me for what I done for what I've done for what I've done to people. And God's forgiven me. And that's important. And that's the most important thing. Not to say that forgiveness of people that I've wronged isn't important. But it's not that big of a but to me it's not that large of a deal. You know, I'll say this again as I close. Brothers, we have to be better for the sake of our children. In order for us to be better fathers, in order for us to be better fathers, we have to be better men. Better men make better fathers. Better fathers better fathers positively shape the lives of of their children. Better men shape better men positively impact the people that are in their orbit. Better men and better fathers positively impact their children and their spouse and positively impact their children. That's all I got for y'all, man. That's all I got. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. This was a little bit of a longer show than I initially thought than I initially had planned it to be. But the one thing that I thoroughly enjoy presenting this to you. Um, it is something that this is something I had thought long and hard about because simple fact of the matter is that I um really wanted to bring this to you guys, and but I also gave a lot of thought to watching the scene and analyzing the scene to the best of my ability. Again, I want to try to make this a series, to where I take a scene from a video game and I analyze it, and I try to make that scene relevant to us as men, because I think this scene in God of War Ragnarok is a very impactful scene, and I think it speaks to us as men because some of us as men were or are destroyers, and we have to get out of that destructive mindset. Again, I thank you guys for being here tonight. I really do appreciate you guys that was hanging with me throughout this time. I know there were some times here there things were a bit shaky and a bit emotional, and I have no issue. I have no issue with displaying my emotion. I have no problem with that at all. I am I am very much secure in my own man, in my manhood, to where I don't, to where me shedding a tear or two is not a thing to me. It, me shedding a tear is something that I'm, something that I acknowledge. I acknowledge the sensitive parts of me. I acknowledge I acknowledge the sensitivity in me. Does that make me less of a man? Hell no, it does not. It makes me more in tune to my own emotions and to the emotions of other people, especially those that care about me, those that I love, those that I care about. I'm pretty sure once I get off the air, once I come off this microphone, this camera, there's probably going to be a waterfall of emotion on me that's going to cascade for me, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with that. But before I go, before I go, I am so very 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 excited to share with you guys that what's going to be um, going down July the 2nd. Man, I am going to be on a panel with some very I'm going to be on a very esteemed panel with some very esteemed men. Um and I'm I am literally excited. I am so excited about this. I'm looking forward to July 2nd. Make sure you guys tune in at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be on the Kingdom Purpose Talk Show with Dr. Natasha Jones, and there are going to be me and some other brothers. We're going to be talking about. um, We're going to be diving deep into the topics of the mantled man, mantled father, mantled husband, mantled brother and friend. Um, each one of us, each man that's on this panel, we're going to talk about what that means to each one of us. The good thing about this is going to be streamed internationally and globally. So this is gonna affect all walks of life, all men from all walks of life. Um, just make sure you mark your calendars for July the 2nd. Um, as it gets closer to the date, I'll make sure that the link that YouTube link and any other links are available for you guys to see. Very available for you guys to watch this. I'm excited. I am very much excited. I am looking forward to this with Dr. Natasha Jones and these other great men. There's a Facebook post out there, so I'm going to make sure that I share that Facebook post with everybody. Uh, everybody. Um, Again, man, keep your eye on us, man. We got some good things coming. Um, Tuesday, girl chat weekly with my sis LHG is gonna be coming to you live and direct. And then my brother and sis T Wade and Kaiser Rodriguez gonna be hitting you guys off with sofa chats with T and K, or you will probably get T Wade's to the point, one of the two. Um, Thursday and Friday are going to be idle days for us. As I know I'll be working a bit later in the day on Thursday and Friday. Um, Thursday and Friday. Saturday probably be well, I'm gonna be working Saturday as well. So the next time you guys will hear from me will more than likely be Monday. Um, and Monday, I have a confirmed guest for you guys. I have an R&B artist that's an R&B artist out of Chicago, Illinois, and we're gonna be talking to her about her music journey. And we're gonna listen to a couple. We're gonna listen to a couple. We're gonna listen to a couple of songs that she has, and we're gonna talk about those songs. So we got some great things coming down the pike, y'all. I'm like I said, I promise I appreciate you guys for just hanging out with us and being here with us. Um, I love you. I love you guys. I really do love you guys. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are the reason as to why I do this. As to why I get up and get up in front of this microphone and in front of this camera and be as transparent as be as transparent as I can be. You guys have allowed that for me, and I'm appreciative of that. So follow us on our various social media platforms. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and everything else. There was another announcement that I wanted to bring to you guys, but I'm not sure. I have to confirm. I have to confirm a few things. I may have to kind of see what's going on with that. I am not sure what's going on with that just yet, but I need to figure out what's going on. But if you guys give me a quick second, just give me a quick second. Okay, so there's another announcement that I want to make to you guys. So, and I am so very happy for this one. This was something. Oh man. So um I produced my first audiobook. That audiobook went live today. The name of the audiobook is called The Ripple Effect: Divorce in the Black Community, and it's available now for purchase. And I am the narrator of this book. You guys, I want you guys. I really want you guys to cut check out this book and flood this book, y'all. I really want y'all to flood this thing, man, because of the simple fact that for me, this was a this was a labor of love, y'all. I ain't gonna even front. I'm not even gonna lie. This was a labor of love. And I am so proud. I am so proud of myself for doing this. This was the first audiobook that I narrated. This is the first narrative. This is the first book that this is the first this is the first audiobook that I narrated. And when I tell y'all, I feel good. I feel good about this. I really, really feel good about this. I really, really feel good about this, y'all. I feel this was so labor intensive. This was something that I had wanted to do for a while, but also at the same time, man, I feel good. I feel really, really good about this. And I am going to put a link here for you guys. And I want you guys to check out this audiobook. There is an audio sample there that I want you guys to listen to. And I want you guys to see, I want you guys to judge for yourself if I did right by this book. This was my first audiobook, the first audiobook that I produced. Produced from front to back. I'm very, very proud of myself for doing it. This took several takes and several mistakes, but I also had a great help from a great person to whom I highly respect, a brother by the name of Drama Audiobook Simpson. Bro, I appreciate you so very much for your tips, tricks, and your pointers. Man, I appreciate you, man. I feel really, really good about producing this audiobook, and I'm actually gonna and I have been auditioning for other audiobook narration roles. So excuse me. I feel really, really good about this. I'm very proud of myself of this. So um check it out, man, and just listen to the sample and see and let me know if I did justice with narrating this book. And if you feel compelled to, if you feel compelled to do so, by all means purchase the book. This is um the name of the author is Macy O'Donnell Sr. And if you guys feel compelled enough to follow him, by all means do so. But I am proud of myself for doing this. I am so very proud of myself for doing this, and I feel amazing. I feel I am this has been I knew that I had a knack for to to project my to for voice acting and things of that nature, but I never thought it would be something. I never thought it would, come to something like that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Never thought it would be come to like something like that, And I feel good about this. I feel awesome. I feel great because now I know that that I can do more. I can I can put myself out there more. So you guys go to Amazon, go check out the book. Check out the link that I put out there and put out there. I'm also going to put a Facebook post out here for you guys so you guys can take a look at it and listen to the sample and listen to the sample, and then if you feel compelled to, by all means purchase the book and leave a rating. That's going to end the check-in for tonight, man. I thank you guys so very much for tuning in with me tonight. I love you guys to life. I love you guys to live. And as I always say, as I end these shows, number one, take care of each other. Number two, be good and kind to each other. And last but not least, it's a crazy world out here, y'all. So above all those things, please, 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 please be safe out there. You guys have a wonderful day. You guys have a wonderful evening, and you guys have an even better and greater week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Most definitely, we'll see you guys on the next one.